Time sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons. Carson Newman assistant football coach Tony Ierulli will join us. Ex-UT basketball All-American Tony White will be in the house, and former Alcoa basketball standout Dwayne Easter will be here with us this morning. Tennessee jumps to number 4 in the national polls, and we're going to the whistle blows. And now let's set today's lineup card. Donnie Moore will fill us in on the latest high school basketball scores, and will follow up with the top national sports news. Marcus Fitzsimmons will be on board to update us on what's happening in local sports. Today, Marcus will visit with Carson Newman assistant football coach Tony Ierulli. And I'll jump in and talk some UT basketball and then follow up and break down the SEC standings and today's schedule. We're happy you're with us, so let's break the huddle and dive right in. Good morning to everybody, and good to have you all back.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, Gunner.
Yeah.
Glad to
Should
be
be a
back.
lot of fun.
Yeah, well.
You have a strange definition of fun.
I've been told that many times.
Well, he's in a good mood. He signed half the football players in Blount County. You know, they're going to Carson Newman.
Well, being around the basketball elites here, I mean, that's a privilege in itself.
Oh, yeah. Donnie Moore, I got a letter ripped this morning. I'm going to talk a little bit about Tennessee's price increasing in basketball tickets.
Oh, my goodness. Let's do it. I'm ready for that one.
Let's go. It was announced this past week that the University of Tennessee is increasing basketball ticket prices by an average of 16%, including a 10% talent fee for the 2025-26 season. The increase is geared to pump revenue into the highly successful Rick Barnes basketball program. Athletic Director Danny White said the price increase would be implemented so the program could continue to compete at a high level. He also remarked he was not trying to turn a huge profit. Revenue sharing for athletes could start as early as July. It could cost as much as $30 million to pay the athletes, $22 million to pay athletes directly, and $5 to $10 million to fund additional scholarships. The increased ticket prices will guarantee approximately $7 million. Announcement of the ticket increase comes a week after announcing renovations to the Food City Center. And among other things that they're doing is they're taking out, I think, about 260 seats there. They're going to do some things in one program they got for, I think, about 1,500 fans. It's going to cost about $2,550 per seat plus the 10% fee. And they're going to have club seats and have a Riverside club access. What all of that means, I don't know exactly, but that's one
Mike,
program.
you know that dead area, that dead space that's like on the if you're on the arena floor behind the seats, there's like one area of the arena that's just not used for anything. UT's never used it.
Yeah.
It's been storage or whatever, but they have found a purpose for that. They're turning it into a club. They're going to put a club in there so you can go back behind those seats. You can pay the premium, and you can get service just like the football games. You can get service at your seats. You can go back and watch the game on the TVs.
There you go. There you go.
Tickets now are almost as much as buying an omelet at Waffle House, aren't they?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Well,
Well,
let's not get carried away. Those are going for pretty money on Softies.
I'm telling you, that's
keep
what
it
I'm
rolling.
saying. They got a 50 cents an egg surcharge on top of the regular price.
they're also going to have some side court tickets that are going to go up substantially. I think per seat on the side court they're approaching $6,000 plus the talent fee, and then at the end of the court, you can get those for the bargain price of about $3,200 or $3,300 a seat. So those are going to be changes there. The other change is those ticket holders that's been grandfathered in. I don't know exactly.
That's you.
I don't know exactly who those people are. Maybe they're people that when the arena was first built that they contributed, and they told them that their ticket prices would hold steady with that. But the grandfathered people are no more.
Not grandfathered.
They're not
Not
grandfathered.
protected
Well,
They're uncles now.
Step neighbors in
The
law.
arena opened in '87, so most of them are grandfathers at this point, or grandmothers. But I remember the irony of that is they did a special deal when the arena opened. The UT employees got a great rate on season tickets because they were trying to get people in to fill the arena because it was such a big group. It was such a big bump in seating from Stokely to the arena. So they the first levels of the upper deck we're almost all UT employees, one form or another.
Yeah.
But that's changed now, right?
Oh, now they can't. Now they're in the rafters. They're now gone out of the rafters.
Yeah. Tony, I've thought about all of this, and
Go ahead.
I first of all, what they're trying to do, there's never going to be enough money. I mean, with the way things are going, there's never going to be enough money. Title IX is going to get into this deal, and we're going to need more money, more money, more money. It's just going to keep going and going and going. And I don't understand why the universities feel like they got to give. Maybe Tony can answer this question. I don't understand why the universities feel like it's so important to give these kids the money to come there. Now, here's the reason I feel that way. The universities hold all the cards. They have the facilities. They have the TV exposure.
Right.
They provide you the scholarship and your housing and in that regard.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, why do you feel like you got to give them anything? If anybody's going to give them something, let them go out and cut their own deals outside of the university, all the way across the board. The athletes need those facilities. They can't go anywhere without the facilities and without the exposure. It's almost, to me, it's almost like the Forrest Gump deal. Are you stupid or something? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let somebody else put the money on the table. They want to get it from an outside source. Fine. It's like the kid that went down to Baylor. If you had that type of deal, would the kid have gone down to Baylor and tried to get on in that program? Baylor would have just said, well, we can't give you anything, but we got all these businesses out here. You can go out there and try to cut your own deal and try to get whatever you want to make. Let them cut their own deal, but don't give them any money. I don't understand what that deal. There's no – it's a bottomless pit. It's never going to end.
Okay, so
It's not.
I understand what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. But see, now you got to put it on the blame of the NCAA. See, if the NCAA would have did this 10 years ago, put a cap on what the players can get, then we'd be able to control it. But there's no cap. It's like free agency. So this is the problem right now. So the kids can get money, which they need.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's the revenue of how much.
Yeah. But it's funny how we're talking all about this, but when have we mentioned anything about their education? They are no longer student athletes. That is a long gone
This whole
thing.
deal is professional sports.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We never won
Well,
student athletes. What are you talking about?
All right,
and I understand
my bad. All right. But the other places except for Tennessee.
I just.
But yeah, you're exactly. Forget why are they even going to college? That ought to be optional.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand everything what you're saying. Truly, I do. But listen, man. I'm just saying the athletes was being used beforehand. Okay, they said our education was going to better us, right? It has in some points.
Yeah.
In some points, it hasn't.
Well,
I'm just.
They got in on the deal when I was in school over there. When the season was over, you could go work.
Right.
So I went and worked, and I worked in the summer, all summer long, and I saved all that money, what I made, and I put it in the bank, and that's what I lived off of in the wintertime. But somewhere along the line, they said, hey, you can't do that anymore. You can't have those jobs. The NCAA come in there because it was being abused. You know, people were giving these kids money and they weren't doing anything, and they said, "Well, we're going to cut that deal out." But the way it is right now, I don't understand why the schools are giving them any money. If they want to get the money, I don't have any trouble with outside entities. Let them give all the money they want to give. Let them go out and cut their own deals. Don't put any cap on anything. You work your own deal out. Pay them whatever you want to pay them. But leave the schools out of it. They're not in professional sports. But you get the schools into paying kids and so forth. So you got a professional sports. And you know these guys, these schools, they're not knowledgeable enough to run a professional organization in a college, in my opinion. And it's just going to be this deal here's just the start. They're just going to keep asking for more and more and more
Mike,
and more money.
Mike, let me ask you this one, because several people you have been educators and been part of a public system. If the university is paying athletes, which is what we're talking about, the surcharge is for, they become state employees. If you were a state employee, you are required to meet guidelines on ethics and compliance. So how do you factor in NIL money into ethics and compliance of a state employee?
That's what I'm saying. They don't need to be state employees. They need to be paid by outside sources, and then don't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
Exactly. You're going to hit a problem where if they don't get this straightened out, and given their past record the last 5 years, there's no chance of that doing it until the courts make them.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, Duke, the private schools are suddenly going to get a leg up because they can do what they want because they are not land grant institutions in the state university.
I'm going to throw something else out there. This has all been good, and we may take the whole session on this. I don't know.
No, we're well on it.
I mean,
we got a professional deal here, and we're looking for big money. We're looking for all the money we can get. Right now, the schools are. Yeah. They're looking for it.
Right.
Can you see this developing into a deal where an outside, let's say Jerry Jones of the Cowboys, decides, well, you know what? I'd like to buy in to the Arkansas basketball program. I'd like to be a 50% owner of the Arkansas Razorbacks, and I'm going to give you all the money that you can possibly. Now, I'm not going to take the school's ownership away, but I want 50% of that team. I want 50% of your football team, whatever it might be. And since it's a professional deal, would they be willing to sell that for big money every year from somebody that's willing to buy half that program?
That's the idea. I mean, because it's, like I say, it's the endless.
It's already a done
you
deal,
had to come
Mike.
up with.
Mike, I understand, but Mike, listen, let's just be honest about it. That's a done deal. They've been doing that all along. I mean, look, we didn't sign Adu back because he wanted more money. Who signed him? Arkansas.
Right.
So Arkansas paying him $1 million. $1 million.
Yep.
Just look at it. So I mean, I'm just saying.
But you know what comes next, Tony? I mean, once you have a contract and you are the property of a school. Right now, it's you can do whatever you want.
True.
But once that becomes in place, well, now the school can deal your rights to another school in a trade.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all
You become professional, and the power goes back to the schools and away from the athletes.
Yeah. Right.
Now, also, are these players that are receiving now this money, are they paying taxes on it? They're employees?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's another
Well,
issue. Is you've got 18-year-olds doing what responsible for the taxes that are that what we would say the former professional level had people in place to take care of that.
I mean, they came from working at McDonald's to now all of a sudden these $1 million deals, and it's not the same tax forms.
Yeah, that's a growing issue that you're going to have athletes who are in financial trouble because they did not know how to do the taxes and et cetera and did not hire somebody to do it.
Right, and they're going to find out within a couple of years they've lost all that money, and it's all gone.
You see why Nick Saban left?
I hear he's doing really good with that Airbnb.
Hey,
I like that commercial.
you see, no, serious.
That's a great
Well, he was working for the players.
I mean, but it's so much going on right now, and I'm saying is that seriously, I mean, we have to look at it. I mean, if the NCAA wouldn't have been so greedy about how much they're making on television rights and all this and that, and I'm talking about 15, 20 years ago when Ed O'Bannon, if they would have went ahead and addressed that issue, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be here right now. They never addressed that issue, and it backfired, and it opened up a floodgates, and now we trying to grab it. Man, you got to paddle the boat right now, baby, because we're going up.
Because now they can't get their hands on it to regulate it or anything like that.
Exactly. So now it's out of control, Mike. It's totally out of control.
Yeah. Well, the NCAA it's just a matter of time, and they're done.
Well,
they're done.
true.
Yeah.
True.
They're done.
True.
They're
But
done.
that's our education.
But the ones that
Don't say education. There is no education.
I gotta say it, cause we're supposed to be student athletes,
Hey,
right?
that brings me to education. That brings me
Not
to education.
anymore.
I'm going to put education back on the table right here.
Go ahead.
I'm going to put it back on the table. I don't know who decided the 4-year eligibility rule. But when COVID hit, they gave them an extra year, and you had a red shirt. I mean, you got guys play 6 years. You see what I'm saying? So here's what I'm saying. I don't know where the 4 years ever came up. You got 4 years of eligibility. I guess the NCAA, it's all the way back, said, okay, now here's what I'm thinking. If you want to put education back on the table, and you want to emphasize it, you get your degree in 4 years at a university. 4 years, or if you leave a university and you're there 2 years and you went to some other school, Kentucky, Arkansas, you name it, and in 4 years you got your degree, you have earned another year of eligibility if you want it. If you want it. Now you've got education back on the table.
The reason
now wait a minute. Now listen. Now you say, well, that's just it. But that gives them another year of they can make this NIL money too. You see what I'm saying? But it looks good right there on paper. You graduate. Now you got to graduate in 4 years. It's not one of these deals. Well, it took me 5 or 6, but I did get my degree. Do I get my no? You got to do it in 4 years.
Well, the reason why it was 4 year eligibility because at the time, it was figured you go to college. College usually gets your degree in 4 years, and that's why you had to start off as a 4 year eligibility. Then they moved into the 1 year redshirt rule. All right, so you could be you go to college for 5 years, but you got 4 years of eligibility. Right. But now that's all. Now they're the quarterback from Vanderbilt. I think he's playing like 7, 8 years. What he's doing, he's trying to be in college longer and make $1 million or $2 because he knows he's not really a pro NFL type of quarterback. So he's trying to stay in college to get that extra $1 million or $2 million.
Yeah, and Tony, the other night you mentioned on the show last week that how a veteran team Auburn was, that they ought to be doing really well, and they showed that on television the other night. How many fifth-year players? They didn't have enough screenplay.
I know
there was not enough screen to list all the 5-year players.
I told you. That's why I told people Bruce Pearl going to use the NCAA to his best advantage. And
Auburn just has to make sure that they don't get in any more fights on planes, so they cancel that.
But they got an experienced group. I mean, you're not playing against sophomores and freshmen. You're playing against fifth-year players, seniors, and juniors, and they used to.
And a lot of them are older than most of the players in the NBA.
But think about the irony of this.
Well, the rookies, you're right.
4 years ago, we were talking about the model and griping about it that Calipari was bringing in all these All-American high school kids, one and dones, playing 5 or 6 one and dones, and everybody was afraid that was going to become the model. Now we're talking about the model is Bruce Pearl's model is to gather 5 or 6 fifth and 6 year guys and put them together into a team to make a run.
Yeah,
right.
Because they're already experienced.
Speaking of Bruce Pearl.
Let's speak about it.
Mike Woodson at Indiana last week announced that he's not coming back to Indiana University. Premier job, one of the premier jobs in the country because of the number of championships they won, the gold standard with the recruiting right there in the state of Indiana, basketball being the #1 sport, so to speak, football. Well, I'll say that basketball's #1 in the Big Ten, but there's a good balance between football and basketball. Bruce Pearl is down at Auburn. He mentioned at one time that Indiana would be a dream job, at one time for him. He's down there. He loses pretty much his entire team this year. You're saying, well, why would he ever leave Auburn? Well, the reason he might leave Auburn is, one, he's losing his entire team, and secondly, I don't care how long you stay in basketball in the Southeastern Conference, it's still second fiddle to football. It's still second fiddle to football. The Indianapolis Papers, who are they mentioning up there?
Bruce
Pearl.
Bruce.
His buyout is in range, and what he makes yearly is in range with what they can play. Indiana has one of the highest, if not the highest, NIL of anybody in the nation.
Wow.
And so you see what they did in football. They turned that program around in 1 year, and they did a lot of it with money.
Yeah.
It was not all coaching, but there was some money involved in that deal too. Don't kid yourself one bit.
You said the magic word.
Yeah.
Well, money.
I'm just saying something you might want to keep an eye on.
Well, but that might be a bad move for Bruce because when he left the Big Ten before, that's it was ranked. I mean, it was bad.
If you want the irony being that the Big Ten is not as good a conference as the SEC right now.
Second.
And
it's second.
And if you are a school selling to a coach, they put them in the situation, which may be a selling point to athlete. It doesn't sound great to a coach. Yeah, you've got to fly from one coast to the other to play conference games. You're going to have to make a California road trip for a weekend and play USC and UCLA, and then you're going to come back and go to Rutgers the next weekend, and that's not a selling point to a coach. They don't want to hear that they're going to have to waste a day on each end for travel.
Yeah, I agree with you. But, Bruce likes that attention. And, when you got that recruiting right in your own back door and you got this stigma of Bob Knight and the tradition up there in Indiana, he likes those challenges. You know what I'm saying? He's losing his team down there. He's done about all he can do down there.
Isn't Bruce isn't he originally from that area?
Yeah, well, he coached at. I think he did have a small college job there in Indiana to start with. Yeah, and then he went up to University of Milwaukee at Wisconsin, I believe, and then he came to UT. So
well, he had it's a big. Well, I'm gonna say it, guys. It's a big. He had a big recruiting scandal with Illinois.
Yep.
And all that with. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I don't know about if you want to go back up there.
But it's all legal now. So I mean, who cares? It's all legal now.
Yeah, but the wounds are still open.
I'll tell you one thing.
There are no rules.
I'll tell you one thing. If he wants to take that shirt off up there in Indiana, it's going to be chilly. Real chilly up there.
There'll be a lot of hair follicles sticking out. Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Don't want to mention that one.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Rick Barnes. We're going off the cuff here. I know this morning, but we're going to get to UT basketball somewhere in the show. But I want to talk about. Let's talk about Coach Barnes. Yeah. I'm worried about Coach Barnes a little bit.
Why?
He made the comment that he just didn't know whether he'd be here without Zakai, and Zakai's leaving this year. This will be his last year. He loses everybody on.
Isn't he getting a lifetime thing?
Wait a minute. He loses everybody on his basketball team. He's getting up into the 70s.
Right.
And the guys are dropping. Florida State's coach, Miami's coach had been there a long time.
Right.
Larinaga, he's out. Florida State's coach is out. Virginia, their coach had been there a long time, and here's a guy that's been there a long time. And I know it all has to do with, maybe what kind of season you have.
Right.
But, sooner or later, this has got to end.
Yeah.
But, this is, he's going to have to go back to the transfer portal next year and do a lot of different – I mean, he's losing everything is what I'm trying to say.
Well, first of all, we don't know Zakai's leaving.
That's right.
Well, he's out of eligibility.
He's going to have a lifetime.
Hey.
Is that an issue anymore?
Huh?
Is that an issue anymore, eligibility?
Not so fast.
Not so fast because of the ruling for the Vanderbilt player also might be influenced with Ziegler.
Yeah.
So sit back, Mike, for a while, and, we just might have to relax a little bit on
Well,
this
if he comes back, then we'll breathe another breath for Rick.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't come back, we're
There
probably the breath's going to be kind of a panic-like breath.
Right.
But, I'm just saying there's going to be a time. When is that going to be? I mean, he's getting up there, and, all that's going on. Of course, I know that he's a little bit different than a lot of the other coaches, that he's kind of embraced this transfer portal, you see. I mean, it's really been good to him here.
Yeah.
And he has a knack for getting in there and getting the players, but, can you depend on that year in and year out? I don't know.
Well, that's been the trend now, is going into the transfer portal. And it's less recruiting kids out of high school, but going to what I call those mid-level colleges, going to like the best player from
mid-level.
Yeah, Western Carolina or UT. Again, their best player, bringing them in. That's what they did with the.
Yeah.
What's his name from?
Well, they're just experienced players. If you go and pick, just say like, instead of dealing with a freshman or sophomore, if you go in there in the mid-level and get the top senior or player of the year in that conference come and play for you, so
absolutely.
Yeah, so he's adjusting faster than.
Well, the great player that got drafted to the Lakers, I forget his name. Yeah,
Connect,
I mean,
yeah.
where'd he come from?
Yeah.
North Dakota, South Dakota?
Yeah, but he was.
Yeah. Now, where's he going now?
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
I was going to bring
Got-
that up. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
I
let's
thought
go.
he was doing pretty well out there in
Yeah.
L.A.
He
If
was.
you're out there
Business.
in L.A., if it was me, I would be really happy to be out there. Outside of the fires, I got Grauman's Chinese Theater out there, and you got
a business.
Disneyland, and you got the movie
That's all it
stars, and
is.
you got Hollywood. And they come in and say, son, you're going to Charlotte. And you're going, oh, boy, Charlotte. Oh.
Moving all the way across the
Please,
country.
I'm down on my hands and knees a little bit.
Hey, that's right.
Huh?
No offense,
Right, I'm telling you.
Doesn't have to worry about all those fires over there. So.
Tony, tell me how L.A. compares to Charlotte.
Hey, I can tell you right now, Charlotte is up and booming and rolling. I can tell you that. I can tell you right
Charlotte's
there.
got no fires or anything
Hey,
like that. I
and
mean,
the taxes are a lot cheaper than L.A.
Yeah.
And the
That's
traffic.
for
And
sure.
the,
He's
so,
going to spend 6 months in Charlotte, and he's going to go in there and say, can you work a deal with Miami or somewhere?
Is Jordan still is Jordan still an owner at Charlotte?
I don't know.
Does he? I mean,
That's
is
where
he
Grant,
still involved in the
Grant
team?
Williams is
Yeah,
there, isn't he?
Williams, yeah.
So he's going to be
Grant-
reunited.
Yeah.
He's going to be
Grant.
there with Grant
Yeah,
Williams.
yeah, so.
Well, it's close to Knoxville. Get loaded up and, hold off
Hey.
on those tickets to UT and go over to Charlotte and watch him play. you
So I
know?
reckon
All those
Brawny
Connect
beat him
fans, huh?
out. Is that what it was? Brawny beat him out?
No,
What?
man. They're not trading LeBron. Bronny, because LeBron there.
Oh, I
Come on,
thought he
man.
beat him out.
It's a business. Come on, man. It's a business.
Deal for the center, right?
Hey, what? No, you're viable, but not to us. So we're going to trade you because we can get something from you. There you go. See, it's strictly a business, you know.
So when you get that phone call at midnight
Oh,
from that's usually not a good phone call.
No.
Tony, did you ever get traded?
Yes. Yes, I got traded.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was terrible, too. I got traded Rick Pitino when he was up in New York.
Yeah.
And I got traded to Golden State. I was at the Golden State, yeah.
There's another cross-country move.
There you go,
Yeah,
yeah.
I played with Ken Spain.
Yeah.
Ken Spain played with Elvin Hayes at Houston. When they played down there, and they played Lou Alcindor in the Astrodome. Ken played on the Olympic team. Great player. We were teammates in Mexico, and Ken he played for Hank Stram. Coach Ierulli. He played.
Did he really?
Played for Hank Stram. Yeah, he played basketball in college, but the Kansas City Chiefs signed him, and he went out to Kansas City and played a couple of years out there, and they traded him. He says, Mike, they traded me to Cincinnati. I flew into Cincinnati, got to the motel room, unpacked my bags, thought I'd turn on TV, catch the sports, leaned back, and they had traded me to Houston. I found out about it on television, and he was down there with me, and he got upset with the basketball coach down there in Mexico, and the coach kicked him off. And Ken comes into the room and he says, man, I'm at a low end. I've been traded, I've been waived, and now I've been kicked off. I said, where am I going? I said, well, where are you going? Ken says, I got my agent on the line. He's got me a deal to play professionally in Yugoslavia. And we had a great time down there when we played. He was a great guy. I mean,
do
you
they
talk
do that,
about
Tony? Like
What?
Like when you're the player, do you know that they're talking about trading you, or do you not know? You just find out on ESPN that you're in the rumors.
You either find out ESPN or you find out by the trainer.
Well, the trainer.
Yeah.
And
By the bathroom stall.
And you was with the Chicago Bulls, and Michael Jordan was there, too.
Yeah, right.
my favorite trade story is
they do it. I mean, you won't know. I mean, you'll be there dressing. I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah,
you'll be there dressing for practice and getting ready to go. Next thing you know, you have someone tap on your shoulder. Hey, you've been traded.
yeah.
No, serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. And you'll be like, well, what I'm doing? Well, come on.
Yeah. Wow. My favorite trade story is Casey Stengel. When he went out, they told Casey, they said, well, you got to tell Hank Bauer he's been traded. Casey says, no, you tell him. He said, no, you're the manager. You go tell Hank. So he went up. He told Hank to come over into the dugout, and he set him down. He said, Hank, there's a rumor that one of us has been traded to Kansas City.
And it's not me.
And it's not me. That's my favorite trade story. Hey, we'll take a timeout here. And when we return, Donnie Moore will provide high school basketball scores and news from around the area. And then veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons will join us with his feature, Mark It Down. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, Blount County Sports Voice. And now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
Welcome back to the Goatees Sports Page. Donnie Moore, I'm going to turn this over to you because we got Rick Barnes riding off from Sunset and Bruce Pearl going up to Indiana, and we've got the NIL goal. We've been ripping them now for about 10 minutes.
Just as long as we're still here.
Settle this program down a little bit, would you, with some scores or something?
You got it. Well, let's just do just that. We'll go to our Mandy B. Street Realty local scoreboard, sponsored as always by our friends over at Mandy B. Street Realty. Prep hoops action last night. There were several games, not as many as last week, but we had a few.
We're tail ending.
We are.
You know,
we're trying to wrap up, aren't we?
We basically got a week left, and then the tournaments are starting.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
we're in that final stretch run, and some of these guys have already finished district play or finished it last night, and they've got one or two maybe rivalry games or kind of tune-up games getting ready for the tournament to start for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Sounds good. Boy, time flies, doesn't it? Alcoa versus Oak Ridge. They hosted the Wildcats last night over at Alcoa. Dwayne, did you see the girls' game too?
Yeah, the girls' game
you
was good. Oak Ridge has got a really good girls'
They
team.
do.
They really are.
Well, Oak Ridge is their record's 21-3
Yeah,
on
they're
the season.
really good.
Alcoa's girls have a 21-6 record, so on paper should have been a really good ball game.
It was.
Shouldn't it?
I bet Oak Ridge just.
Oak Ridge, I know they're big and strong and fast and tough and good shooters.
Yeah.
You know, everything you need in a basketball team.
And they do a lot of fast breaking, and they just throw it. And
they do.
Yeah.
But the Lady T's could not hold up with the Lady Wildcats last night. Oak Ridge won that one 72-47. Then in the boys' contest, really close ball game, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't at halftime.
No.
A lot of people left
it was a
at
good
halftime.
comeback. Good comeback.
It's almost, I think they're almost behind by almost 30 points, 29 or something like that. But they came back and right to the end, you know, they had a chance to tie it up and didn't do it. But it was really.
This is one of the ones I was talking about is, Alcoa's finished, both teams finished undefeated in the district. They're done with district play. So this is a tune-up game, going out and testing themselves against a much bigger school and getting that dial up on getting ready for the postseason. But the fact that Alcoa was able to rally, take it with a shot, a chance with 1 second to go, and play toe-to-toe with a very good 4A team.
Yeah,
and they were Oak Ridge a lot taller than Alcoa. I mean, I was amazed how tall Oak Ridge is.
Imagine that,
Dwayne, is that 1 second? If you're playing at home, it lasts a long time.
Yeah, and they threw that.
They're not really in a hurry to hit that button, are they? I mean, you know.
Well, actually, I think it had a tenth of a second.
Oh my goodness!
And then it went back to a second. So
wow!
But I mean, they had a chance right there at the end.
Well, Upshot, the 20-3 Wildcats were victorious over the 21-5 Tornadoes, 88-85. High-scoring game.
It was.
A lot of points scored in that contest.
Game. Sure was.
Moving on to Eagleton hosting AE last night. It's always a treat when AE comes in because they're very entertaining.
They got players.
They do. They got players. They sure do. In the girls' game, the 15-11 Austin East Lady Roadrunners defeated the 33-20. Eagleton Lady Royals 66-25. And then in the boys contest, it was another win by AE last night. The 13-4 Roadrunners beat Eagleton, which was 18-6 with their standings, 55-42.
And I believe that game was at AE, right? Wasn't that a road game for
Was it?
Eagleton last night?
Okay.
But I think, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, but I think they've split the series. They each won at home. But it's going to.
Good.
The Eagleton boys are in a good position. They're in a spot where they can play for a region seed, and they can get a good region spot if they play well in the district tournament.
Well, our friends at Heritage High School traveled to Campbell County last night to take on the Cougars and Lady Cougars. In the girls' game, Campbell County at 19-6 came up with 32 points, as opposed to the Lady Mountaineers at 24-2 had their 48. So the Lady Nears get a win right there.
Yeah.
Coach Rick's doing well.
And that's a good bounce back because they had that loss to Sevier County.
Yeah, Sevier County
early in the week that
got swept, didn't they, boys and girls?
And it was a little bit of a setback because I think they played 3 times now with Sevier County, and that's. I'm not sure that we're done seeing them, but that the Heritage girls it's a good bounce back. But Campbell County's a good win for them and they've got one or two more left to get tuned up.
Yeah.
Before it's going to be a short and very vicious district tournament because of that, because they've only got that few teams. You basically have a play-in game and two games to get to the region. That's it.
On the boys contest, the Heritage just quietly keeps on winning basketball games. They're piling them up right there. They're 19-6 on the year, and they won against Campbell County last night, 59-48. Campbell County's 13-12, just a shade over 500 team. But congratulations to the Lady Mountaineers and the Mountaineers. Great job. William Blount versus Maryville last night.
Rivalry.
Yeah, can you say that? I would say you're right. But it was a sweep for Maryville last night, 72-54 in the girls contest. The records indicate not very good basketball teams. Maryville's 10-17. William Blount's 5-22.
Well,
this year.
But remember we talked. We had Lady Rebels in here and we talked with them.
Yeah,
they piled up a lot of losses outside district play.
Exactly.
They're actually in position. They beat West midweek. They're playing. They're going to be the 3 seed in the district.
Good.
So
that's great.
They're in a good position. William Blount's. It's not the position you want to be in, but they're going to be in the we got nothing to lose position, and they can just play all out and do what they want in that district tournament.
It's really been a total rebuild for William Blount. They lost a lot of players from the.
Well, you had a coaching change with Coach Roddy coming in.
Yeah.
You lost a lot of players, and she's done well. They've been in every game that just about at one point or another, but you've got a system I think that works really well. But when you've got to get the players and they've got to get used to it, and William Blount's got to get a little bit older and a little bit bigger.
Yeah, they do. And the boys contest last night, Coach Lambert's Rebels put it on the William Blount Governors 77-44.
As a 9-point game at the half.
Really?
Yeah.
9-point game.
9 point. Goodness. Maryville's 18-9. William Blount's 4-23 on the season. So tough second half loss for the
William Blount, I
right
believe, had 7 threes that first half. Kept them in it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now my last score of the day is Greenback versus Midway, and things don't get any better for the Cherokees.
What a rough year in there.
On either side, boys or girls.
Boys or girls. In the girls' game, Greenback is 0-23. Haven't won a game. And they got beat by Midway 58-26 last night. Midway's 15-9. In the boys' contest, Midway is 16-8, and they put up 68 points to Greenback's 35 last night. So Greenback boys are also 0 and 19 on the year.
You know that Greenback program down there, because of their enrollment and everything, it's a carryover in sports. If football does really well, a lot of those kids play basketball also.
Right.
So if they have a good football season, got some pretty good athletes, and they go into basketball, and then they go into baseball, and they're pretty good. It's one of those schools where they get a lot of guys like the old days playing
2 or 3 different sports.
Play 3 sports.
Yeah,
see.
right.
And when you got good athletes, you can excel. But they were down in football a little bit, and so it's carried.
Yeah, something's happened to the infrastructure down at Greenback, because we're 4 or 5 years ago we're talking about them being one of the best programs in the state in their division.
Well, they had
Marcus probably knows a lot more.
Best single A programs there were.
Well, I'll say the same thing. I've said this before: is when you've got schools of that size, specialization hurts a whole lot more.
Correct.
So if one sport becomes more popular, it hurts all the others. So I think the spring sports at Greenback and the success they've had going to the state tournament the last 3 and 4 years, that it's impacting basketball.
Yeah, because I say, my grandson's involved in baseball right now. They're playing baseball all year round. A lot of those, we grew up in an era where you were playing 2 or 3 different. I played baseball and football. I was 2 short Italian guys have a hard time in basketball. I'm sure you don't realize.
Yeah, well, look at his look at his fingers.
Yeah,
they look like stubs. Have you ever seen a basketball player with fingers like that shoot?
Well, you look at Tony.
Look at that.
You don't
looks
say,
like Coach Hersberg's fingers. Look at him.
They're
stubs.
You don't see basketball.
I'll just say
Stubs.
anything.
Hey, you just
I'll just say anything. You looking at me? I'll just say anything.
I mean, you look at me in shorts. You say, "Boy, he's got double thighs on both legs." Don't see the angle.
So,
So,
my goodness.
what the heck were we talking about? Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but the smaller schools, I went to a 1A school, but we were all playing 2 or 3 different sports. And baseball has a way of specializing where you're playing fall baseball, summer baseball, regular baseball season. Those guys just don't get a chance to do it.
I was going to say that Greenback's lost some kids too, because on Oak Ridge they had a kid from Greenback.
Really?
And he was good. I think his last name was Green. He was hitting some threes. Yeah. So they're losing kids to other schools. To other schools.
Wow. Well, that's it for our scores for a while.
But we got postseason.
Yeah, I mean,
we got awards to go through.
We got bowling postseason awards that were announced this week. The All-District 3 girls team included Riley Tucker, Anna Claire Pinkerton, Sarah D., and Elizabeth Tisdale from Maryville High School. From William Blunt, Haley Dunmoyer and Madison Propst. From Sessie, we had a couple, Evelyn Minkin and Lila Webb, and also Caitlin Russell from Heritage High School. Those were your members of your All-District 3 girls bowling team. So congratulations to them. All-Region 2 girls team, taken from the All-District, but All-Region 2 on the region tournament, we had Riley Tucker, Sarah D., Elizabeth Tisdale, and Jen Stewart, all from Maryville High School. Wow. So congratulations to those young ladies. Yes. The All-District 3 boys team included Jackson Joins, Tanner Murphy, Nicholas Lafferty, and Brian Ailey from William Blunt High School. It also included Gavin Wolf and Addison Wolf from Heritage High School, Jack Taylor and Nick Mazzarella from Maryville High School, and Gavin Eagle from Sessie. That's Samuel Everett School of Innovation.
You have to keep reminding Mike what that one is.
Yeah, I have to ask Marcus all the time about what those initials mean.
Founded by our old friend Justin Ridge, by the way.
Yeah. I just kind of enjoy it when Mike calls it SESI.
It's okay. Everybody knows what it means. All Region 2 boys team included 3 members, all from William Blunt High School.
Well, they had a really good year.
They did. Brian Ailey, Jackson Joins, and Tanner Murphy.
We had them. We had some of them on here.
Yes, we have.
And right before they went into the region, and they did. They did both William Blunt boys and the Maryville girls. Both had great seasons.
They sure did.
I wonder if they could give me a few lessons. I've joined the bowling league. Maybe
I'm sure they could.
Lessons.
Well, some of the ones at William Blunt are, you talk to them, and it's like listening to the pros on TV.
Really?
I mean, they know what they're
I
doing.
need to get some lessons.
I
from
can give you
them.
lessons. I bowl.
With these hands?
Yeah, absolutely. I had to get the
Bam,
extra
bam.
large
They're
holes
getting
in
a
it.
bowling
Like,
ball?
I can grip that 16-pound ball and whip it down there. Yeah.
Hey, when he goes bowling, they've only got 1 or 2 balls that those hands will
Yeah,
fit
right.
in.
I can grab
The
that
holes
thing.
are too small.
I just go whip it right down there.
Bam, bam.
Good.
Bam, bam.
I want to tell you that you listeners that you're listening to WKCE 92.5 FM and 1180 AM, Mid-Century Radio, and now I'm going to share the spotlight with my partner that's sitting right next to me right here, our old friend, our veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons, for his feature, Mark It Down.
Well, thanks, Donnie. But we're going to share a little bit of this. We got Tony here. We
Right.
got you. You have the full list.
I do.
Yep.
So let's go through the signees from signing day on Tuesday,
Okay.
and then we'll come back and talk to Tony about because he's got his name attached to several of these.
I'll
But
read
let's
it.
give all the kids a shout out for the ones who signed and are going on to play in college. And
You got
this
it.
is not the full list. We still got some signing
We
days
still got
to
some
go.
to do, yeah.
But this was probably the largest one where we're going to see the largest group
Yep.
all at once.
Well, let's start with Jameer Turner, otherwise known as JT.
JT
to his
at
friends,
Alcoa.
JT from Alcoa High School. A Carson Newman signee
That's right. Very proud.
Yeah.
of him. Great young
for
man.
football, and he's going to be a great addition to your program.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just a wonderful family, and he's a pleasure to recruit. Just a great young man.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody that shined in the big moments.
Yeah.
he
yeah.
had some big plays in state championship game defensively.
Yeah. Yeah.
He sure did.
I've wanted to ask him because I haven't had the chance yet. But if they just kind of turn them loose and let them go after that quarterback from Westview,
Yeah.
because he had a game.
Yeah, he
If
had about
you
3-4
watch it.
sacks in that game, and he was absolutely a difference maker the way he played in the state championship game. And like I said, he was just a pleasure to recruit, just a great young man, and we're excited about him.
Good deal. Alex Boyd is one of our other signees from Maryville High School. He signed with the Air Force Academy for football, so he's going to be out there with what's
Price.
his- with Price and somebody that's already been there
Yeah, I'll
for a
forget
year
his
or
name.
two.
Yeah, they have another player from
Another
Maryville.
runner, good Gage Ledoux.
Gage Ledoux.
Correct.
Yeah,
And
Gage Ledoux.
was it T.D. Blackman that was there? Graduated a couple
Yeah.
years ago.
That's right. I forgot about T.D. Blackman. Yeah,
I believe he was
Boy.
all conference for Air Force.
we got a pipeline from
linebacker.
Maryville to Air Force, don't we?
Maryville has sent kids to Air Force. I'm going to think at least for the last 10 years we've had one every 2 or
Wow.
3 years.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Some of them have gone to the prep school and not actually been on the Air Force
Sure.
roster. But I mean that happens regardless of this Division I school. But with the service academies, especially with the prep schools.
Yeah.
But they've had several that have played well. We've had a couple from Heritage that have played
Mhm.
at service academies and had good college careers.
Yeah. Well, continuing with the Maryville theme right here, we'll go with Kane Baber of Maryville, signed with the Citadel for baseball. Citadel. Don't have too many people going to the Citadel.
That's not one we
around
see
here.
often, but
No.
we also have. I was looking at honor roll announcements or dean's list rather, and we do have a couple on the dean's list at Citadel for this fall semester. So there's some students down there from the area.
Good deal. Lauren Jones from Maryville High School is going to the and signed with the University of West Virginia for rowing. Becoming a much more popular sport in this area, isn't it?
It is, and I believe I want to say she's the second one going Division I that's at Maryville, but rowing for TriStar.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's the second one to sign Division I in the last 2 years. I think we sent one Alabama last year, if I remember right.
Good deal. Noah Johnson from Maryville is going to Tennessee Western. Tennessee Wesleyan. I'm sorry. No, I
For track.
couldn't read my own abbreviation right there. Going to Tennessee Wesleyan for track and field. That's right. Tennessee Wesleyan. Noah Johnson. Congratulations. Britton Barrett from Maryville High School signed with Maryville College to play football.
Good local get for them.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no doubt. Henry Chambers from Maryville also has signed with Tusculum for football. So
We'll see him every year.
yeah,
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's
Big rivalry.
that might be one that got
Congratulations to him.
away.
Yes.
Well, let's continue. Most of the rest of them are from Maryville, but there's a couple that are not. We'll save them for last. Matthew Covert from Maryville also signed for football with Maryville College. Price Davis, the fine running back from over at Maryville, signed with the Air Force Academy.
Good ball
to
player.
play football. He is a good ball player.
I tell you, when I watched them during the All-Star practices, I was totally impressed with him. I mean, he's totally focused during practice and listened to everything that the coaches were saying, and I wish him great success over there.
And how many times? I mean, tough kid, because how many times do you see somebody take an injury like he did his junior year and come back before the season's over?
Yeah.
That just doesn't happen for most people when you break a bone.
Absolutely.
I still love the 96-yard touchdown run that he made in the All-Star game. I mean, congratulations to him. Absolutely.
Yeah. Parson Newman gets another one from Maryville, Zach Hampel.
Yeah. Zach was a playmaker on the defensive line for Maryville. We're going to move him out to a defensive end. But, man, again, another great young man. And, wonderful family, and had a great visit with us. And so we're excited about him being part of our program.
Maryville sent Graham Coulter for football to Emory and Henry, Mike.
There you go.
Yeah. So congratulations.
Somebody else told me he's going to
We'll see him every year.
Yeah.
We'll end up with a couple of Alcoa personnel here. Isaiah Emmert from Alcoa High School has signed for football with Center College.
They're in that SAA where Maryville College will be playing next year. And that was Maryville College's only loss this season was at Center.
Yep. Isaiah is the son of former William Blount High School and Alcoa High School assistant football coach Justin Emmert.
Yep.
So congratulations. I know Justin's a proud dad. And then Blue Kennedy will finish us off from Alcoa High School, signed with North Greenville College.
For baseball.
For baseball.
Yep.
Yeah, a baseball signee. So, man,
Busy
what
day.
an abundance of good athletes.
And that doesn't even include what we've got coming up.
No, I mean, we got some more that are coming
William
up.
Blunt's didn't do theirs on signing day. Theirs will be coming up. And we got another slew coming out of there. We've got a couple coming out of Heritage. I mean, it's going to be. There are a lot of kids going. We're on track that this may be one of the biggest signing years we've seen.
It could very well be. Well, that just goes to show you what a wealth of talent this area has.
And obviously, because we got the guy right here that's been doing some of the recruiting.
Yeah.
Don't have to travel very far on my recruiting trip.
I was going to say, Tony, you shouldn't have to be going to Georgia or Florida all that much anymore if you got Blount County to recruit this year.
Yeah, and what's great is that a lot of the coaches, I mean, they're former players of mine when I was the head coach at Maryville College, or teammates. Not too many more teammates anymore, but as old as I am. But just great connections with all the head coaches, and Blount County is really blessed having 4 or 5 really great head coaches for football, and with the assistant coaches, and so it's always great coming to recruit these players from here, and we've got a good connection this year, going to Carson Newman.
One thing I'm wondering about, because we spent the morning talking about it from a basketball perspective, but with the move, the introduction to the December signing day for Division I, basically for football, has that made the old traditional signing day in February more a Division II and III type signing day for football?
Yeah, I think so, because like I said, they have the signing day in December. There's even talk about possibly moving the Division II, Division III up to December, which I'm not fully for it, because it's too much of a rush, I think. Because at the major college schools, there's so many different personnel in terms of recruiting and able to recruit the players at the different high schools. At the Division II, Division III level, you're kind of limited. So it takes a little bit of time. You got to work with your own schools, financial aid departments, and there's a lot of loose ends you got to try together. And having that signing day in December, we could do that with some, but I still like it in February where it's at right now.
Well, I always liked it in February because it gives you the chance. The season's over. Everybody gets a chance to catch their breath. You've got a chance to kind of catch up and look at some of the tape of what the kids did during the year, because you can't be at every game every Friday night to see what's going on.
Right.
And you've got those all-star games that are once again proliferating, and we've got more of them going on right in the latest trend. So it just feels like keeping the way it is, where
I-
Division I kids are now out of the formula. You know who's
Yeah.
going Division I now.
Yeah.
That you've got.
Well, what happens a lot of times is that I'll be going out and recruiting a kid, and in November, 1st of December, they say, hey, coach, hey, how you doing? Just kind of, not blowing you off, but just kind of, just saying, how you doing? Then when all of a sudden come 1st of January, when they don't have that Division I offer, it's like, Coach, how you doing? It's so great seeing you. Yes, call me anytime. So it's totally different because they know they don't have that option. All of a sudden now they see.
Well, the other thing is, Mom and Dad start asking that question a lot more. You decide where you're going. Decide where you're going. You're going to graduate in 5 months.
That's right. We need to get you out of the house.
And becoming a senior becomes real because now you can see the end. Because it's not next year; it's months.
No. And like I said, I was real fortunate. We got Zach coming out of Maryville High School, which I thought he's a tremendous playmaker. He played a nose guard defensive tackle, but for us, we're going to move him out to a defensive end. And just a great family, and I really enjoyed recruiting him. JT Turner coming out of Alcoa High School, which we've already talked about. Just obviously another great young man, just very personal, and we just love being around him. Going to play defensive tackle for us, and like you said, he's a playmaker.
He is.
He makes things happen and all that. And
well, both of them, and they're extremely well coached in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a lot of technique for a high school guy going into college.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one thing you don't have to worry about between Maryville, Alcoa, Heritage, William Blunt. Regardless of the records, Eagleton. There's a lot of really outstanding coaches.
Sure.
On those staffs. I know the coaching staff over at Maryville Middle School with Jay Malone and stuff. Yeah. Most of those coaches are as good as most of the high school coaches in the area. So so we're very blessed. Then I think signing for us on Monday will be Eli Graff coming up.
Huge get.
That's huge.
Yeah,
huge deal.
Huge for us and all that.
Did you have to reach into that Bojangles bag and get out another coupon there? He's worth it. He's worth as many as you can.
Most of our NILs it's half off that Bojangles. But we committed that we were going to get them a full 100% off on the Bojangles letter bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Full rides.
Full biscuit.
Spicy.
Yeah. But seriously, I mean, this guy's a playmaker. He makes things happen.
He's a tough kid.
And I tell you what's more impressive is watching him play basketball.
Oh yeah.
I mean, been playing at the guard position. I mean, he goes inside, outside, passes the ball off, shoots the threes. I mean, the guy is a competitor. That's what Coach Hirschberg.
He doesn't get rattled either.
No, Coach Hirschberg
smart.
would absolutely love him because this guy competes. He's a great leader, and he can play other positions as well. But we just love it. He makes things happen, and so we're obviously very excited, and congratulations to his family as well. But we look forward to his signing on Monday.
Sure.
One thing with Eli, and he's been so successful. But we kind of overlook it because most of the time when you're watching an Alcoa game, Donnie, like our perspective, we're looking down on the field.
Mm-hmm.
We can see Eli moving around.
Yeah.
But if you watch him play from field level, like we did at state championship, it's then you realize how well he uses his size, because the defense does not see him. He is behind that offensive line,
right?
And he disappears. The first time they see him is as he's blurring past them on the outside. They never see him coming. He uses that better than any small quarterback I've ever seen.
His perception, outside the normal vision is outstanding. And like you said, he sees a lot of things that most quarterbacks don't see, and that's why he's always been extremely productive. And and we run the offense that suits him, being the flexbone offense, coming from the offense from the Naval Academy, where Coach Ingram brought with him when he got named the head coach here. We finished up with a 9-3 record, first round of the national playoffs, and so, like I said, we're excited. He fits into our scheme extremely well, and we got a couple of young men from William Blunt that's also going to commit to us here in a couple of weeks as well, and so we've done very, very well in this area right there.
You guys have cleaned up.
Yeah, we were close on a couple guys from Heritage as well, but like I said, it's been a great several months of recruiting here from Blount County.
And Graff was patient too. They had another quarterback. Like, was his junior year
last year
he was patient. And
last year we had a transfer came in from Williamson County.
Yeah.
And was the starter up until the loss to Maryville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about the third game season, yeah.
And they ended up making a starting change there.
And that was a difference right there, I thought.
And it made a difference in Alcoa's run that while the guy who was starting at first could run, it wasn't. How do I say that, Donnie? He wasn't as good as runner as Graff was, and having Graff's ability to run changed what Alcoa could do.
Exactly.
And it opened up Brandon Williams as a deep threat.
But he was patient, Graff was. That's what I admire about that kid. He didn't, a lot of kids would get kind of upset,
well,
but he was patient. And
the biggest thing about him as a starting quarterback was that meant they had to scale back everything he was doing. Because he was starting on defense, he was a starting punter, he was on kick return, he was doing all the kick returns. He was doing everything but driving the bus.
Remember 2 years ago, he did about 10 fake punts. During his
he was 10 for 10.
Yeah.
On fake punts.
And then he made that critical fake punt in the state championship game.
And it was the first one had ran his senior year.
Right,
they didn't fake one because they faked so many his junior year.
Yeah, and he, what, 40 yards for a touchdown or something like that. So, so the guy's a playmaker.
He
didn't get in.
Speed, too.
Yeah.
You remember he stepped out at the 9-yard line? He just couldn't turn to the last corner to get the touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, they scored 2 plays later. But, it was still like a 30, 40-yard run out of it.
Certainly. And like I said, he was a great kid, and along with the others. Aiden Telfler and Luke Watkins are the two from William Blount that committed to us, and they're going to be doing their signing next month over at William Blount.
Donnie's giving me the whole we got to go thing, but I just want to ask is, we had Eli in here back in the fall, and at that point, he wasn't 100%, but he was fairly committed to going to the defending D2 national champion.
Harding. Yeah.
And now he's coming to Carson Newman.
Well, Harding and Carson Newman, we run basically the same type of offense. And so similar type of offenses, 8 hours closer.
that is a definite selling point.
That was a big advantage. And every time he's come over us, he loves Coach Ingram, Coach Peterson, our offensive coordinator. Besides me, we had several other coaches working and talking with him and all that. So it was a team effort recruiting that guy.
Tony, putting that Italian spice in there. Look at, come on, Tony. Yeah, you're cooking.
Uncle Vito helped out.
You're cooking, yeah.
Uncle Vito helped out a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Tony.
So you can read between. It's great. We got 2 Tonys talking about.
Well, there you go.
Okay, before the Tonys get out of hand, let's go ahead and turn the page.
All right, thanks, Marcus. Time to turn the page, and next up will be the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Too funny.
Tony putting that sauce in there, baby.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, B.F. Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensonTire.net.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards along with the rest of our broadcast crew. And Now it's time for the Sports Page Player of the Week segment featuring Daily Times senior reporter Marcus Fitzsimmons, sponsored by Anderson Lumber Company, where quality service is always a priority, proudly serving Blount County for 100 years. And
well, unfortunately, Mike, thanks for the introduction, Anderson Lumber is being used to build medicine chest right now because apparently it's flu season.
Yeah.
And a lot of coaches and athletes who are still healthy at the moment don't want to risk the athletes getting out and getting sick if they can avoid it. So as an abundance of precaution and to kind of keep our friends where they are and keep them healthy, we said, okay, y'all can stay home this week.
Yeah, well,
stay
would hate
stay
to,
healthy.
We would hate to take the blame for anything going wrong.
I didn't want
during
that.
the
I did
season.
not want to be the kid. I did not want to be the reason we had a star athlete sitting on the bench next week. So
I had my flu shot. So.
Yeah, most of us did. Yeah. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. That's the problem.
This one hasn't helped a lot. I got to tell
And
you.
I hate shots.
So from the numbers,
They got it wrong this year, didn't they?
yeah,
They guessed wrong.
I think they guessed the formula wrong, and at least they missed this one.
Yeah.
But since we didn't get a chance to talk about the actual Oklahoma game earlier in this show,
Yep.
can we circle back to UT Oklahoma and the Vols trip
Yeah.
today? Because they're going to tip off here in about 53 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Oklahoma, but I want to talk about this week a little bit. Tony White, we sat here last week, and it hadn't been a good week. You know, the men's program, the women's program, they dropped 2 games each, total of 4 games. They didn't win anything. Had some tough losses, and this past week, it's been a different story. The men manhandled Florida 64-44, and then they beat a good Missouri team 85-81 there in the week. And in the women, they had a good week beating, I think, 5th ranked Connecticut. First win over Connecticut since the early 2000s. So I'm glad that series continues, and I'm glad that Tennessee finally got a win over Ariama. And
there you go.
they did that.
Everybody happy on Rocky Top.
What has been the difference this week, Tony, in this men's basketball program and what we were talking about last week?
Well, I mean, you know, just like I think that the guys showed up. You know, everyone played their part. And I'm just telling you, the guys, the key for us, I think I've been telling people that is Bluetick. If he steps out and do the things that he's doing, playing well, rebounding, but mostly scoring and being a real reliable threat, he's helping our team a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know.
Can you all, Mike? You all both watched it, and we talked about it last week. But not only when we walked out of here, we were talking about they weren't going to have Ziegler for Florida,
Right.
and then we found out they also weren't going to have Milicic for Florida.
True.
How does that team, two big players down, hold Florida to half of their scoring average?
You want to answer that first, Tony, and then I'll step in there a little bit.
Well, I think I went over there and told the guys to take the ball to the basket. And they shot less threes, and they was aggressive going to the basket. And we put the pressure on Florida. I think because our defense is going to be our defense, but I think that we played a lot smarter on the offensive end. I guess guys just stepped up and took responsibility.
Lanier did, didn't he?
Yeah.
I thought if you go back to the Florida games, we're sitting here watching the first half. It was just the kind of game that we thought it was going to be going in. It was ugly. It was very ugly that first half. And then the second half, Tennessee kind of got over their ugliness, and Florida just decided to stay ugly. Pretty much, don't you think, Tony? I mean, they just stayed ugly, and here's a team that was averaging, 80-some points a game, and Tennessee holds them to 44 points. They never got out of that sink from that start of the first half and the way Tennessee played defense.
You're saying Coach kissed the frog and it stayed a frog?
Yeah. But that Rich Barnes defense.
That's
what I'm saying. He kept it ugly for Florida, physical, aggressive, and we took it to them compared to when we was in Florida when they took it to us. You understand? So I mean, it's a very tough conference, and you got to be ready to play.
We beat them at their own game.
Yeah. They got 19 points out of Chaz Lanier, which is better than he had been playing. Point got good production there, and Gainey got recovered from the Kentucky game, got 16 points, and Oak Parra got 10 points on the inside and played real well. So we got production there. But actually, if you're looking at their overall stats, not all that great. I mean, they shot 40%, not better than they have been shooting,
right?
But 24 for 60. But they were just 6 for 22 from threes at 27%, and the turnovers was outstanding. They only turned it over 7 times, but the defense, as Tony talked about, really was the difference. Florida was 13 for 53 from the field and 4 for 27 for 3-point shot. Looks like the game that we'd been playing, on the road before, but they had twice as many turnovers, which made a lot of difference. And Florida got no transition points. They got nothing, Tony, in transition.
Well, see, that was saying.
And that was when they played down at Florida. That was a big part of their game.
Yeah.
They got a lot of transition
Layup
points
alley.
down there. Yeah. Missouri. I'll tell you what. I was impressed, Tony, with that Missouri team came in here.
Were you worried about big game next game?
Well, yeah, but I just didn't. I didn't know how Ziegler was going to play, and I didn't know how Bluetick was going to play after being out.
Right.
And I see how they played against Missouri after sitting out a game. Maybe they ought to sit out a game, play a game. I don't know, Tony, but it looked to me like the rest did them really well because I think Ziegler may have played his best game of the year, 21 points, and then turned the ball over, penetrated well, and man, he was. Last week I was talking about some games he looks like he's in the playground, and in other games he looks great. Well, he wasn't on the playground last week. He played really well, and I thought it was probably his best game of the season. And Bluetick, 21 points out of him, and they went more inside out. They're not. Barnes said, "Get off the threes, guys," and they took 15 threes and hit 10 of them.
Yeah, right.
So,
And then also, we changed a little strategy a little bit too. Coach Barnes did instead of doing a double stagger, he did a single stagger that countered that they couldn't switch, and that helped us well in the second half against Missouri. I mean, because they couldn't switch out on the near because Cheney, and we had more threats of guys playing offense.
Yeah.
They didn't want to leave the shooters. If they left the shooters, we went inside. So it was kind of a good plan.
Yeah. And Missouri was ranked 15th in the country. It was another ranked team that they played. And I'd seen Missouri play a few times, and I was really impressed, especially since they went 0-18 in the league last year. I mean, this has been a great turnaround for Missouri. And what I liked about them, Dwayne, was the poise. They just kept their poise the whole game. And even though, Tennessee went on the, a couple of runs there, they were able to withstand it. And come back. I mean, it went right down to the end, really.
Yeah, but you talk about Bluetick. He had like 21 points, 10 rebounds. He had 5 assists, 4 block shots, and 2 steals. I mean, that's
pretty
fantastic.
all-around good game.
And then it says here also he's per stats performed the first player this century in Division I basketball, men's or women's, the NBA or WNBA, to record a 20, 10, 5, 4, and 2 and a 75, 50, 75 line in a contest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's
pretty stout.
That's pretty stout.
Yeah. Tony, Tennessee, right after the half, I think this was the real turning point in the game. Missouri had led by as many as 11 in the first half, and they were up 6, I think, at the half, 34-28, something like that. But early in the second half, Tennessee went on that 15-4 run, and that really set the tone, I think, for the second half and give them the momentum to close the deal, I think, on Missouri.
Missouri's good, though. You know what
they really are. They shoot the threes. They really shoot the threes well. It keeps them in the games. I think one of the other things that hurt Missouri was right there in the second half when they really needed to hit some free throws. They missed the free throws.
Yeah, they did.
It got them in trouble.
They did.
So,
and that turned the game around. But also, I just think that our defense in the second half, against Missouri, we turned it up a notch. I mean, first half, Missouri couldn't miss nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just coming down, just throwing it in. I mean, but second half, I think we, keyed on certain, key players, and we shut them down.
Yeah,
I think Ziegler didn't make it. He didn't miss a shot, did he? I think he was 4 for 4 and 7 for 7 from the free throw.
Hey.
I mean, he can't get no better than that.
Hey.
Well, here's the question that it was a question we talked about last week as whether he could stand up, and that was Gainey.
Right.
So we saw it. He stood up to the test with Florida. Does that give Barnes the option that maybe we can get Ziegler's minutes a game closer to 30 than 40? Can Barnes give him a little bit of a break? Because, like Mike said, with fresh legs,
Right.
he looked like the player we saw in November.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly.
So keeping him a little bit fresher, letting Gainey have 4 or 5 more minutes at point.
Yeah,
a
and
game.
he's more productive.
Yeah. But during those 4 or 5 minutes a game, those guys that replace Z, they got to be productive.
Oh,
see,
yeah.
See, that's the big thing. If they productive, yeah. But if they're not, we got to make some changes.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing. If the guys come off the bench and do what they're supposed to do, yeah, we can rest them a little bit.
We've gone through a stretch here, and everybody's really talked about how tough this stretch was for Tennessee.
Doesn't get any easier.
Auburn, Kentucky, Florida, Missouri, Mississippi State, all those teams, ranked teams, tough teams to play.
Right.
But I want to remind everybody that 4 of those 5 games were at home. They were at home. It makes a big difference.
It does make
now
a difference.
we're looking at a whole different scenario now as we go down the
Yeah.
stretch in the last 9 games, because you got Kentucky away, Texas A&M away, Ole Miss away, and Alabama at home. That's 3 out of 4 tough games that you've got away from home.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm going to throw you got Oklahoma today, and I'm not going to look past Oklahoma at all, because we're going to talk about Oklahoma here in a few minutes. But and then you got South Carolina at home, and they're not playing real well. LSU, you got them away, but they're struggling. And
Still
Vanderbilt,
dangerous.
you got them at home, but they're not playing very well on the road.
Right.
So,
But it's still a revenge game, just
I know.
like Florida
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know.
and just it sold out yesterday.
Yeah.
It's the last game.
Yeah.
It's the last regular season game.
Yeah.
It's Vandy.
Yeah.
No, it's right after Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky's right after. We play Kentucky midweek and Vanderbilt
Oh, really?
right after that. South
Okay.
Carolina's final home game.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, it's time for a break. When we return, it's the Boyd Sports Spotlight, as Donnie Moore will be up with the national sports headlines, and I'll follow up with some more UT basketball. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and it's time for the Boyd Sports Spotlight segment. And Donnie Moore, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, my friend. We'll just
We're in trouble.
we'll head on with it then.
That's a warm-up.
Yep. It's time for this week's sports headlines, brought to you, as always, by Fast Signs. Boy, that's some breeze
That's
right
pretty
there.
good.
Have you been outside this week?
Yeah.
It's cold. Huh?
Well, Super Bowl 59 is finally upon us. Kicking off at 6:30 p.m. at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, and featuring the 17-2 Kansas City Chiefs versus the designated home team, Philadelphia Eagles, with a record of 17-3. The game will be broadcast on Fox Sports, and the Star Spangled Banner will be sung pregame by Jean Baptiste, and the halftime performance will be by Kendrick Lamar.
Among others.
Among others, that's right. He's the headliner.
They're not like us.
Also scheduled to perform are Ladisi, Trombone Shorty, and Lauren Daigle, with a special pregame performance by the Human Jukebox Marching Band of Southern University.
All right.
Beach Boys couldn't make it?
Beach Boys couldn't make it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you say? Who is the shorty guy?
Trombone Shorty.
Trombone Shorty.
There you go.
Trombone.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry, I've never heard of that.
It's in New
Trombone
Orleans.
Shorty. Yeah, he's in New Orleans.
It's in New Orleans.
Right,
You've got to have some
They must-
three-quarter
Where's
music.
Al Hurt?
Trombone Shorty and Lauren Daigle, I think, are going to do God Bless America.
Okay. Trombone.
It must be
Yeah.
short.
I
Can we get
hope
Michael
so.
Can we get Michael Jackson?
I get a Swifty.
I don't know.
Can't
But
do
anyway,
can't
that's
do a flyover. Well, it's a dome.
No, that's right.
The irony is he's a 6'10" trumpet player.
Thought it was short.
Moving on with our NFL theme.
That trumpet's going to be real
The
short.
NFL announced the award winners for the 2024 season this week, and they are Associated Press MVP Josh Allen, quarterback from Buffalo.
Okay.
Marcus?
Okay, I got a problem.
I thought you did.
I'm not going to argue with Allen being the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
But the same voters made Allen second-team All-Pro at quarterback behind Lamar. If you're going to do that, just
How does that happen?
Just
that
go-
doesn't make any sense.
either
It don't make any sense.
either make it
No.
make sense, or just go ahead and cop out like you did 15 years ago, and do co-MVPs and make them both.
Yeah.
But don't say he's our MVP, but he's not good enough to start at quarterback on our All-Pro team.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
That's a cop out.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was the sports writers that.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
this was
the AP.
the Associated Press.
Yeah.
There you
The
go.
Associated Press
Just
coach,
answer my question. Why?
coach of the year
I think I'm set.
was selected to be Kevin O'Connell from Minnesota. The Vikes had a good team this
Yep.
year.
Yeah.
They didn't last long knowing the playoffs.
No, they didn't last in the playoffs, did they?
Yeah.
But they got there.
They got there.
That with what they
Yeah.
what they had in the situations, I thought he did a great job off
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
with that
Did
offense.
a nice job. Yep.
The Associated Comeback Player of the Year for this year was Joe Burrow, quarterback of Cincinnati.
Cool Joe.
And how many times do you see a guy win that award twice?
Yeah, really.
He's always coming back.
He's always on his way back. Yeah.
Coming back for the award.
He's not there.
He
He's
won it
never been there, but he's always coming back.
because he won it like 2 years ago.
Wow, so
One day he'll be there, but in the meantime he'll be coming back.
Just doesn't know exactly where he's going.
Moving on, the Associated Press Defensive Player of the Year was Patrick Surtain II, cornerback from Denver. Anybody got a beef with that?
I do not.
Okay, I don't either. AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels, Washington quarterback.
Yeah.
I think for a rookie, he did a great
Did
job.
a great
this year.
job.
Have
Amazing.
you ever a rookie step in and do that?
Yeah.
Played with poise and confidence, and
Amazing.
and was a good leader.
Totally agree.
Does it make you wonder how in the world, like, did LSU squander their opportunity having him?
Well, he certainly didn't bloom as much as he did.
I mean,
as he has now.
he's a
when
guy
he was
that
at
is-
LSU.
Apparently, he's more fit for the NFL system than the college system.
Yeah, and there are players like that. The AP Defensive Rookie of the Year was Jared Verse, defensive lineman from the Rams.
Okay.
I'm not real
He had
familiar with him.
He had a good season.
Yeah.
Sacks.
yeah.
It's one of those where you know what a rookie is because it's a first-year guy.
Mhm.
But I thought the linebacker from Washington, who was not a first-year guy but was really his first time actually seeing the field as a starter, I thought he had probably the best out-of-nowhere season defensively, but he's not a true rookie.
I got you. The Walter Payton Man of the Year in the NFL was Eric Armstead, defensive lineman from Jacksonville. The FedEx Player of the Year. Now, see, they got Player of the Year awards and then other Player of the Year awards that are sponsored by different people, which is crazy in my opinion. But anyway, the FedEx Player of the Year was Josh Allen and Jamar Chase, wide receiver from Cincinnati.
FedEx give an award.
Do we have a
got
Goatees
money.
Player of the Year?
Yeah.
I believe
We
that.
should.
I believe that.
We can
go
do it
Lamar Jackson.
do it our banquet.
I think the FedEx's delivery, as far as quarterback and best receiver,
Okay.
Yeah, it's one
I think it's statistical.
one deliverer, one receiver.
It's a package, huh?
Yep.
It's overnight.
The USAA Salute to Service Award went to George Kittle, tight end from San Francisco.
Right.
Okay.
Great player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award was won by Josh Allen. Sportsman. Not only is he a good player, he's a good sportsman too. Good sport.
Not if you're playing football. I mean, good,
Yeah,
good
I know.
sportsman, yeah.
The Deacon Jones sack leader
Ooh, I like
Yeah.
that.
was Trey Hendrickson, defensive end from Cincinnati.
Congratulations. Deacon Jones was a stud.
Yep.
He was a stud.
The Associated Press Assistant Coach of the Year was Ben Johnson, Detroit's OC.
And they'll be lucky to hang on. Well, did they hang
I
on?
don't think they did hang on. I think he
did.
left.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
he
he went
was
somewhere
hired
else.
away.
Yeah.
I
Got
got two
hired
coaches
away.
left.
Here's the Fan of the Year, sponsored by Captain Morgan.
A pirate.
Yes.
Okay.
Rum. That's the rum.
Captain Morgan Rum. That's right.
Okay.
Captain Morgan Fan of the Year was Megan Stefanski, a great fan of the Detroit Lions.
When you've got fan in your last name, that's cheating.
I agree. Stefanski.
Yeah, good point.
And the Jim Brown Award,
Yeah.
Jim Brown.
given to the best what?
Running back.
Running back. That's right. Was won by Saquon Barkley, running back from Philadelphia.
Yeah, he ran away with that one.
He did. I'd say that
If
he's
if he didn't get all the votes, I
absolutely
don't
the
know.
best.
So,
Yeah.
Someone needs to be kicked off of that.
Absolutely.
See, I'm going back to where we start off. Not that I have a vote. My vote would have gone to Barkley, just as a default, because I got two quarterbacks I really can't decide between.
Mhm.
But you've got a once-in-a-decade
Yeah.
season from a running back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I would have gone.
But
with
they
him.
don't. Yeah, they don't give it to running backs.
But running backs aren't even in the,
No,
the
it's
realm of
all
Not
conversation.
even,
quarterback.
not even consideration. Well, the LA Lakers landed Luka Doncic in a trade over the weekend. And in further trade action, they brought in third-year Charlotte Hornets center Mark Williams, who stands at a 7-foot 2-inch clip. Yeah. The Hornets received Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, a first-round swap in 2030, and an unprotected first-round pick in 2031.
So what did Dallas get out of it? Yeah, they trade.
They traded.
They got
They
Anthony Davis.
traded. They traded the who was it?
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis.
They got Anthony Davis from the
Straight
Lakers.
swap. Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic.
Okay, and so what was the reasoning for them to do that?
They're trying to retool. The Lakers are trying to retool their.
No, I understand the Lakers,
Yeah.
but why did Dallas?
Why did Dallas trade
Money, wasn't it?
Doncic?
Yeah.
Didn't have a big
Doncic
contract.
asked to be traded.
Oh,
Well,
they all asked.
He had a big contract too, didn't he?
Yeah.
he asked to be traded, or they was kind of fed up with Dante.
That could have been too, but I heard last week that he asked to be traded.
Yeah,
and,
but
and I'm sure he saw the handwriting on the
Well,
wall.
Come on,
you
give us
know,
the
when
inside
they come
scoop.
out-
Give us the inside scoop here.
when they come out and tell you straightly like this, general manager come out and say, "Hey, defensive win championships." What that telling you?
That means
What that telling? No,
that means
really, I'm
Mike
saying-
Edwards is gone.
Oh my!
Oh,
my.
Don't let Tony White off the hook.
Oh,
He's gone
Tony's
too.
gone too, isn't he?
Yeah, but
He turned into a personal.
yeah. Come on, Mike. This is love here, man. We loving each other. So basically, what I got from it is that this was kind of it was like, hey, you don't want to be in shape. They say, how can we control you when you're making $40 million? Then you want the max when you're making 65 or
Yeah.
70 million. We can't control you when we're giving you 40 million. You don't want to come in shape. So
Okay.
hey, there you go. It's a business. They made a decision. We'd rather have Anthony Davis, who would have us a better chance in the short run than be with you in the long run with the max deal. And that deal cost him $116 million because he got traded. He can't get the max now.
and that was another reason is you can bring in Davis and you're
can't
you're,
live on
you're
that,
at the
can you?
same. You're basically at the same spending level
Exactly.
as you were. You
Exactly.
don't have that 25 million bubble hitting you next year.
Exactly.
And with Davis, you get an experienced player who can help you with
now.
some of those younger guys with a work ethic.
Right.
Whereas now the Lakers have
Right.
to deal with instilling a new culture into
Yeah.
Luka.
But also,
Yeah.
Davis wasn't happy because Davis was playing the 5s, but he's actually a 4. So now with Lively, who's hurt, but they still got the other kid. What's his name? I saw him play there.
Don't make me think of it, but we know who
Yeah.
you're talking about. The big dude.
Yeah. Okay. So now he's on the 5. So Davis actually playing the 4, but their defense is a lot better. I mean, they got rid of offense for the defense, but the offense from Davis, and don't you know their odds are a lot better
Yeah.
to
so,
win?
So Luka's problem was that he was not in shape, not game ready, or he had.
Well, look.
He's a scorer, but he did not go to work defensively.
So how's it going to work with LeBron? Them sharing the ball, shooting. I mean, how's that going to work?
Well, LeBron is 40.
Yeah, he's going to
Hold on,
still shoot it.
Listen. Now listen. LeBron is 40. He want all that pressure off of him.
I don't know about that.
No,
He likes to shoot it.
no. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
with Luka there, he can sit and then pick his spots. Cause Luka, he gonna get you the offense, but boy, he gonna be pointing at you. Hey, get my man on the defensive end, because that's what they showed. That's what they showed during the. I was watching ESPN and stuff, and they say, look, during the championship series, he's just pointing at people. Hey, pick him up, but that was his man. He wasn't in shape.
Well, good deal. Thank you, Tony,
All right,
for
gotcha.
that explanation right there. The SEC has announced the amount of money that it will share with its 16-member universities for the 2023-24 fiscal year, which just closed, by the way. The conference has distributed a total of $808.4 million, and that's an average of $52.5 million to each of the 14 legacy members, with both newcomers, Texas and Oklahoma, receiving $27.5 million in transition payments tied to TV agreements. $808 million.
Well, that sounds
Revenue
like a
sharing.
lot. Tony, that's probably what Notre Dame brought in all year. Isn't
Yeah.
it? So they don't have to share it.
That's why they stay independent.
Notre Dame's up there going, well, that seems like a lot of money. That's a little short of what we brought in.
Yeah, that's why we stay independent and proud of it.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2025 is unusual in that it consists of only 4 inductees. They are tight end Antonio Gates, defensive end Jared Allen, wide receiver Sterling Sharp, and cornerback Eric Allen. Couple that were nominated that did not make the cut this year.
Yeah.
It's kind of high-profile names. Eli Manning for one.
Yeah. I kind of think Eli Manning overall is just a solid quarterback. He's got the Manning name. He did play well in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Got 2 of them. Got 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
Super
yeah,
Bowls.
I get that. But if you look at his overall, his win-loss record, his overall play,
Stats.
I said, he was just kind of maybe above average quarterback overall. Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback? I understand he won 2 Super Bowls and all that. But again, you look at Joe Namath.
But that's the gold standard. That's what when we talk about. Well, he was a great quarterback. Damn right, he was a great quarterback, but he never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's the other way around.
true.
So if you're going to apply that standard of whether they're one of the best quarterbacks ever, is they never got a Super Bowl, then you've got to make that Super Bowl count for something.
True. I mean, why is Joe Namath in the Hall of Fame? Because he won that Super Bowl III. But you look at Joe Namath.
Because he looks good in pantyhose.
Well, I try.
He was
I try to stay away from talking about men in pantyhose. All right.
remember that one.
Joe was hurt a lot.
It's in that issue
He
that
was
we were
hurt.
talking about. This magazine issue we were talking about. Right next to you.
I'm quiet on that one.
I'll tell you what.
Tony's sitting over here going, Joe Namath, what did he play basketball, football?
Oh, I don't.
I know this.
Like this, but
I know about Broadway Joe. I know about him, but
I mean, I
didn't know about the patios though.
that was his big thing.
Well,
or
all right.
was it him or was it?
Okay.
Well, we know Eli will get in eventually. It's
True.
just, I don't have a problem with him not getting in the first time he's on. My problem was they brought in 5 guys from the seniors that the senior committee selects, that those who are in that certain bracket since they played. They brought them all in. They only put in 1. So you had 4 guys that basically got this close, and we're going to invite you down just to tell you no.
Yeah.
That just seems a really raw deal to do.
Who were the
somebody.
other 4? You remember?
They were all players from I believe the 70s, but they were.
So I know who.
You know, it was like.
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, I don't know the names,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, you bring them in, like you're this close to being in the Hall of Fame, and then no,
Shut
sorry.
them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tease them again.
Yeah, I mean, that's just.
Yeah, wrong.
I mean, just don't even bother saying, "Hey, just give us who's going to go in."
Yeah, yeah.
When you're in that position.
Well, let me get my last couple articles in right here, and then we'll move on. The Colorado Buffaloes have acquired another Pro Football Hall of Famer to their coaching staff this week. Marshall Falk has been tapped as the new running backs coach for the Buffs. He joins other Hall of Famers on the staff, defensive graduate assistant coach Warren Sapp, and of course head coach Deion Sanders. On this day in sports, February the 8th, 1936, the first NFL draft took place. Jay Berwanger of the University of Chicago was the #1 pick by the Eagles.
Signed for $100.
$100.
They don't even
right.
play football at
100
University of Chicago. They don't even play football. there anymore.
$25. In 1945, Paul Brown was hired to coach the expansion football team in Cleveland, later named after their coach, the Browns. Cleveland
right.
Browns. That's right. 1960, the Celtics' Bill Russell becomes the first NBA player with 50 rebounds in a game. He got
Wait a minute.
51.
You're telling me the Browns were named after their head coach?
Yeah.
You didn't
I
know
thought
that?
it was the color of the river.
Well, that's a
Close.
good point, too.
That's, hard to argue that point. Yeah.
I thought they were the Brownies.
He's dirty.
You know, like
The
the
Brownies.
Brownies. Yeah.
Like the Girl Scouts?
Yeah.
I don't think they sell cookies.
Well, they had that on a football card one year.
1963, the AFL's Dallas Texans become the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's right. That's right.
1963. 1972, Josh Gibson played for the Homestead Grays, and Buck Leonard elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame on this day in 1972. 1975, Pete Maravich, name we all know and love, scored 47 points. The New Orleans Jazz end their 28-game losing streak with a 106-102 win over the Hawks in Atlanta.
28-game losing streak.
They had a 28-game losing streak. And Pete Maravich.
And Pete Maravich.
How do you lose with Pete Maravich?
Yeah, well, he did. He lost a lot of games.
He did.
Pete didn't play on very many winning teams.
No, he didn't.
He didn't win at LSU, and he didn't win in the pros. He finally spent a couple of years with Boston Celtics and picked up some wins, but his career was pretty much well, it was the Pete Maravich show. You know,
that's
you
right.
know,
It was.
You got a one-man deal like that. It's people come to watch him score and pass, and that's what he did.
And when he was with Boston, he was really riding the bench most of the time.
Yeah, it was toward the tail end.
Toward the tail end of that.
1983, Wayne Gretzky, the great one, sets the NHL All-Star record, 4 goals in 1 period.
Wow.
That's a legend.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. 1985, Marshall's Bruce Morris makes a 92-foot, 5.5-inch basketball shot.
92 foot. What's the
94 is a college
kidding
score.
me. Wow.
He stepped one step, caught the ball inbounds, and turned and threw it, I imagine.
And they interviewed him after the game, and he says, "I knew I had it all the way."
Yeah, saw it going in.
We work on that in practice.
Yeah.
1986, Spud Webb,
Yes.
5 feet 7 inches, wins the NBA Slam Dunk
I
contest.
remember that.
I remember that too.
I watched
Yeah,
that. That was good.
Him and Dominique and
Yeah.
was Jordan in that
Yeah.
one? I don't
know. 1990, we got one birthday of note today. 1990, born on this day, Klay Thompson, guard from the Dallas Mavericks and San Francisco Warriors, born in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, okay.
Deaths, couple of deaths of note. 1956, died in the year that this reporter was born, 1956. Connie Mack.
Connie Mack.
His real name was Cornelius McGillicuddy.
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
So, he did a good job.
Connie
changing it.
Mack.
Connie Mack.
I agree. He was a baseball catcher, manager, and team owner, and died on this day in 1956, before I was even born. Wow.
Well, you're only 1 year older than
his
me.
son was a senator, wasn't he? From Florida?
Well, I was born in.
So
I was born next week in February.
So what team did
1956.
he own? Is it athletics? or-
I don't know.
Philadelphia Athletics.
I believe it was.
Yeah.
Okay. And died in 2021. Another name we all know, Marty Schottenheimer, coach of the Browns, Chiefs, Chargers. Died from Alzheimer's disease at 77.
Wow.
Terrible.
Great
disease.
coach. Great coach.
Great coach. Terrible disease.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
it is.
Well, that's all for this week's cross section of sports headlines, brought to you by Fast Signs. I'm Donnie Moore. Back to you, Gunner.
Thank you. I'm Mike Edwards. I'm here with Donnie Moore, and he's Blount County Sports Hall of Famer. Marcus Fitzsimmons, longtime sports writer. Tony Ierulli, Carson Newman assistant football coach, and Tennessee basketball great Tony White, and Alcoa basketball standout Dwayne Easter. I want to talk a little bit about this Oklahoma game today. Tennessee, a couple big road wins against Florida and Missouri. Now they got to go out to Oklahoma to play, and I don't know whether fans know very much about Oklahoma, but this has been a pretty good basketball team at home.
Yes.
They're 16-6 overall, only 3-6 in the league, but they've played some really tough road teams on the road in that 6-loss deal.
Right.
They're 10-2 home, 10-2 at home. They lost to Texas A&M 78-80, and they lost to Texas 73-77. So they've lost some tough games, but they've got some good wins. They beat Arizona 82-77. They beat Louisville. They beat Georgia Tech. They beat Oklahoma State. They beat a fine Michigan team in the Big Ten that's NCAA bound. They're having a great year, and of course they beat Vanderbilt by 30,
Right.
97-67.
Right.
So Tony White, I think that Tennessee they got their work cut out for them. I think out there today.
Well, yeah, I think they need to come and they just take it to them. Can't give them confidence because they only lost 2 games at home this year, and so we got to be very focused.
Yeah, Tennessee comes into the game a 5.5-point favorite, Dwayne, and it'll surprise me if they don't. I hate to keep using this word ugly, but when they're on the road, they like to really throw that defense at you, and when they do throw that defense after you, it gets that offense out of sync, and it does appear to be real ugly. And I look for them to open that way and try to set the tone out there at Oklahoma today. Do you see it that way, or do you see it differently?
Yeah, hopefully Ziegler have a good game like he had the last game, and then of course Lanier, if he's shooting good, and if he's more aggressive like he was when Ziegler was out. I thought he did really good while Ziegler was out. So if they have those 2 guys playing good, and of course Gainey and Middlecheck, if he plays good.
Tony, I look for him to go inside out a little bit more. I don't think you're going to see him shoot the threes out there. I think that they're going to look for some penetration and try to kick it off to the inside players and get. And I think that's what they've done real well the last couple of games is getting those inside players, Phillips and Melichik and Opara, involved in there to get them some easy points inside on the bucket. And what do you think?
Well, I mean, once we start getting easy points up under the bucket, get a couple of dunks, layups, and everything, that opened up the outside game, and we just have to penetrate and just get the game going. Don't give Oklahoma a lot of confidence because they're playing at home. That's going to be the key right now. And like you say, we muck it up with our defense, but we also got to be aggressive on the offensive end.
Yeah,
that's the key.
Oklahoma's looking for. They've got some good wins right here, but they're looking for some marquee wins. They're looking for tournament. They're looking to try to get. Their backs are against the wall. They're trying to get into the tournament, and they're looking at this game. Hey, we got Tennessee coming in here at number 4. This can be a real. This can be a real feather in our cap right here to get this game.
Exactly.
So,
if they upset Tennessee, ranked number 4 in the nation, that helped them.
I do like Ziegler, Gainey, and Lanier having the good games from the outside here recently because they're going to need that. They're going to need some outside.
They need to start off strong, though. I mean, they don't need to, get behind early and give them some confidence the other team. But I mean, if they come out strong and aggressive, that's sometimes when they're on the road, it seems like they don't get into their game till.
Yeah, I'm telling you, playing on the road is tough in this league right now. I mean, you got an Oklahoma team that's not ranked, but hey, listen, you know, they as I said, they've played some good teams and they got some tough losses. I mean, don't go on that 3-6 record. That can be deceiving.
And they want to knock somebody out like a Tennessee
and
off,
Oklahoma's one of those schools that's got pretty good basketball tradition out there too. You know, coming from the Big 12 into the SEC, they've already had some pretty good tradition out there in basketball. So you know,
most definitely.
I want to talk a little bit about where this team is at right now. I've got some things written down here. Regular season SEC championship, you're always looking at that, Tony, but I think that's off the table with this Tennessee team right now. Auburn would have to go 5-4. Right. Tennessee would have to win out. I think that's a real long shot right now. As far as and you got Alabama at 8-1.
Right.
They're still in the hunt, but I think that's really something that you know is going to be a long shot. The SEC tournament. What do you think there? You think Tennessee can win the SEC tournament or not?
Oh yeah. I think on the neutral site we can win it.
I think there's a possibility there. I don't feel real confident with it. But I don't feel real confident, but they are playing down at Nashville, which is almost like a home game.
Yeah.
But that
neutral
gives
site.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
But
come on now.
This league's really tough. They're going to have to convince me a little bit more in the last 9 games, to put that in the deal. Where do you think they're at? Where do you think this team's at right now? I think they're basically playing for seeding.
Yeah.
In the NCAA tournament, I think that's really out there. It's on the table. But how far do you think, just looking at this team at this point in the season, Tony, how far can they get in the NCAA? Are they Sweet 16? Are they Elite 8? Are they Final 4? Looking at what they've done right now and what you're seeing, the resume.
To me, I'll put them at the Elite 8. Elite 8.
Elite 8.
That's what I think.
You think Elite 8?
That's what I think, yeah.
I tell you what, I like this team's grit. I like their defensive effort, keeps them in game. I like their hustle and determination. Players seem to really like each other. I mean, I think they're all aboard there. I think they like Barnes. I'm not sold on their three-point shooting. I'm not sold on their inside game, and I'm not sold on a clutch player right now. So I'm going to put a damper on it, and I'm saying Sweet 16.
Oh.
Right now. Right now.
Oh, tell me right now.
Right now. But now listen, I got an open mind, and if that shooting comes around and that inside game comes around, and Zeke goes out there and hits a couple of game winners, and Lanier hits a game winner here and there.
Well, see,
I may change.
Well, see, you should change your mind because you were like that when we played Florida.
Yeah. I was looking pretty good the first half.
So you might want to change your mind there.
And then Barnes at halftime says, hey, we got them right where we want them. They're going to play ugly the other way. Just relax. Let's play our game, and we'll be home free. And that's what happened.
Work with me a little bit. Work with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
would you ever thought they'd be beaten by 20 points? I mean, we'd beat Florida by 20 points.
But, we talked about that a little bit last week, that sometimes when teams are backed up against the wall and adversity's out there, they'd lost a couple of games. Yeah. Everybody had the doubts. Ziegler's not playing. Melicic's not playing. Crowd's going, man, I tell you what, I don't think we got a chance here. Right. When you get a team thinking like that, and, sometimes you play better after losses than you play better after wins.
Who was it picked Tennessee last week?
Oh, I did.
I think it was me and you.
Yeah.
I picked Tennessee against Florida, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I picked them against Florida. I didn't pick them against the week before.
Okay. Talking about Auburn. Yeah.
I didn't pick them. But, I picked them against Florida. I like that back against the wall, and I thought maybe they would come through right
All I know is I heard 2 squeals.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything, but I heard 2 guys actually squeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you saw that Ziegler one playing and then you found out Melicek, you was like, oh.
Yeah, and you knew they were going to move Gainey to the point,
right?
And he just had a horrible game, at Kentucky.
Yeah. Right.
He just didn't even show up at all. And
Right.
you're thinking,
had the flu, I think, or something.
Yeah, you're thinking, man, what's going to happen here? And heck, you're going out there and they play the way they did. They beat Florida by 20, and you're going, well, I don't know whether Ziegler needs to play anymore or Melicek. I mean, let's sit them down for a while and see where we're at, But,
Stranger
anyway.
things just happen.
Yeah, it's it's a good week. And like I said, playing at home makes a lot of difference. If you're playing those 2 games on the road without those guys and those things up in the air, that could have been a different story. But,
Hey, Mike, can I throw some trivia at you? In this last
go ahead.
minute? Okay, because I think there's a bridge between you and Tony here.
No, there's not a bridge. There might be a raft.
Zakai is in position that in the next 2 to 3 games, he's going to move up about 5 spots on the SEC record book for assist leader. So the guys he is going to probably pass in the next 2 games to go from 10 to 5. I was looking at the list here. So Ethan Martin at LSU played 77 to 81. Alex Caruso at Texas A&M, 2012 to 16. But LSU's Kenny Higgs, 74 to 78. And Dirk Minifield at Kentucky, 79 to 83. Those guys are likely to pass him in the next 2 games. But those are guys that are in the bridge between your era and Tony's era, kind of overlapping in there when assist was really a part of the game.
Right.
Which is it? The fact that Zakai's doing that at this level of the game and the way the basketball's played now, it's just kind of impressive. Isn't it?
It is.
Well, Barnes likes him. There's no doubt about it, and he should like him because he's a perfect player in his system.
Exactly.
Absolutely. If Rick Barnes could draw up a player to play in his system, it would be Zakai Ziegler. Plays the great defense, penetrates with the basketball, competitor, Legion steals, assists, unselfish, team player, can get you some points outside on most nights.
True. You're right.
His guy.
He's a leader.
Right, Tony?
He's a good leader.
Yeah. I mean, hey, who wouldn't want a player like Zakai?
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So from now on, when Zakai's gone and he brings in a point guard, he's going to look at the guy when he's having a bad game or a bad practice. Why can't you be like Zakai?
I can believe that.
We had a guy here named Zakai Ziegler one time. Do you remember him?
Call him.
He's going to still be there next year.
So Zakai, he set the precedent, I guess, for everybody that's coming in here. Okay, time for a break. When we return, we'll be back to close out today's show. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget
Donnie
and
said
make you
2
comfortable.
o'clock.
Their motto still stands true today. Call us first. We'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensonTire.net.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, and I'm here along with Donnie Moore, Marcus Fitzsimmons, Coach Tony Ierulli, Tony White, and Dwayne Easter. And Tony Ierulli, you got something to say?
Yeah, I just want to say this in remembrance of 1 year ago, tragedy happened in Blount County when a deputy, Greg McGowan, was killed while on duty. And I just, it was such a tragic event for everyone involved in Blount County. And Sheriff Braun did a wonderful interview on TV.
I saw that.
Abby
Ham.
With Abby, and it just brought tears in your eyes.
That's good.
So I just wanted to bring up a point that I want to remember him and his life, his 2 children, couple grandchildren, fiance, family, and thank you for your service. And I hope that Blount County will never forget him.
Exactly.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Good.
Hey, we got Super Bowl weekend.
We do.
Got a lot of people around the table this morning. Has anybody besides me seen every Super Bowl? all of them, but this is 59.
You have?
This is 59.
Green Bay
today,
Packers.
Sunday. And you've seen all of them, Tony?
Yes. Yeah. Green Bay Packers.
I think I have. Yeah.
Anybody
I'm
else?
pretty sure I have too.
Well, back when
in my day, there was only 3 stations, so
when they started out, it was the AFL against the NFL.
Correct.
And I remember the first couple. Vince Lombardi said, "Well, the AFL is just not up to snuff, with the NFL."
Yeah.
You had the Green Bay against, I think, Kansas City and Oakland in those early ones.
Correct.
Super Bowls and.
What's funny is looking at the halftime shows.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was like
back then it was high school bands.
Yeah, the high school band.
High school
Al Hurd
bands.
on a. I mean,
you thinking now, and not very many people at the games.
No. I mean,
it was just sort of a.
I think it was at
a
LA
novelty.
Coliseum, the first one. It was only half filled.
And then along came Joe Namath and the New York Jets.
That's right.
Coached by
Hall of Famer Joe Namath.
Newbank, and they beat the Baltimore Colts.
That was a big turning
point.
And then
that was a 16-7.
Yeah.
And I don't think Johnny Unitas played in that game.
No,
he was hurt.
He was hurt.
Earl Morrall.
That's how far I go back. Earl Morrall started.
Morrall played.
And then he didn't have a good game. Then Johnny came back in the fourth quarter through a touchdown pass, but it was
too late.
Yeah, too late. Yeah.
And Joe Namath all week down there was just lounging around saying, "Man, we got it. We got the game, man. And we're going to take them."
Yep.
Nobody believed him and thought he was just blowing off being Joe, being the showman. And he went out there and showed them, didn't he?
Well, back in those days, people thought the AFL was sort of like a minor league.
Yeah.
And then when Jess was able to beat Baltimore with Don Shula as the head coach, that was the difference right there.
Yeah. Well, let's go around there and let's get our Super Bowl winners. Tony White, who you got?
I got the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Dwayne?
I'm a Swiftie, I reckon.
You're going to go with the Chiefs. I saw you eagling it over there a while ago.
Well, on a normal day, I would be pulling for the Chiefs, but since my entire family are Eagle fans, and I would be threatened with my livelihood if I wore anything Chiefs, I'm going for the Eagles.
That's that Italian.
I know. Bodily harm. I'm for the Eagles.
Marcus?
Okay, be clear, I'm watching for the commercials, but I think for once maybe the more talented team will win this time, so I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Ooh,
right.
Run that ball.
I don't see how you can bet against the Chiefs. So my head tells me vote for the Chiefs.
Because Tony and White and I always see it eye to eye. I am going with the Kansas City Chiefs. How can you go against Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
It's going to be the first three-peat in NFL history. You got to be rooting on that.
History.
You got to be.
Yeah.
Anytime you can win it 3 times in history, I think that's
History
a great
made.
thing. And this is the year of history because you get down there in May, and I know there's some other things coming up, but you got Joseph Newgarden from Tennessee's won 2 Indianapolis 500s in a row.
Yeah, right.
He's going for a three-peat. Maybe the year of the three-peats, what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I know.
There you go.
And that's
There you
what
go.
I'm looking
All
at.
I know is
that's
that,
what I'm looking at.
technically it's 3, but the Packers won it 3 times.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for
What,
coming
back
in.
to back?
3 times, yeah.
Thanks,
Back. Okay.
thanks
All right.
everybody for coming in. It's been a fun day.
Oh,
been good.
thanks,
Yeah,
Ed.
good.
Always
and
been good.
everything. Now we can look forward to a little bit of lunch. Donnie Moore, blow the whistle. Hey, that'll do it for today's edition of the Goatee Sports Page. Thanks to Aaron Ishmael back at Loud Media, our host, the Bluetick Tavern, and all our sponsors. For Donnie Moore, Marcus Fitzsimmons, Tony Ierulli, Tony White, and Dwayne Easter, until next Saturday, this is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, wishing everyone good sports. All right.
And that's the final whistle. Join us again next Saturday for the Goatee Sports Page. The best in local sports.